All right, welcome. Today, we're jumping into some really fascinating and honestly pretty mind-bending research from Gregg Braden. We're going to unpack this idea that our human origin story might be completely different than what we've been taught, and that all of us have this incredible, hidden potential that we can learn to switch on whenever we want.
So here's what we're going to cover. We'll start by questioning the official story of evolution, then we'll dive headfirst into a real mystery in our DNA. After that, we'll explore the hidden intelligence inside our hearts, show you how to sync it up with your brain, and then we'll give you a simple 3-step technique to do it. It all leads to a huge question about what we're really capable of. So let's get right into it. Okay, first things first. We're going to look at a pretty bold challenge to the conventional story of evolution, specifically as it applies to us humans.
This quote really sets the stage. Now, the idea here isn't that evolution isn't real. It absolutely is. But the claim is that Darwin's theory of slow, steady, gradual change seems to fall apart when you look specifically at the human story. It just doesn't quite fit.
So why the challenge? Well, it really boils down to two things. First, you know that classic tree of life image? The source material argues that, for humans, there are massive gaps. The physical fossil evidence to connect us to those supposed ancestors just hasn't been found. And second, the old story that we descended from Neanderthals, modern DNA tells a different story. We lived at the same time, we even interbred with them, but they're not our direct ancestors. So that opens up this huge question. If that's not our story, then what is?
So if the fossils don't have all the answers, where do we look? Well, it turns out the next part of the story might be hidden deep inside us, written in our own genetic code.
And this right here is a really crucial point. Instead of that slow, gradual change, we, anatomically modern humans, popped up on the scene about 200,000 years ago. And I mean, in evolutionary terms, that's basically overnight. We arrived fully formed. And get this, we haven't really changed physiologically since. Same body, same brain.
So how does that happen so fast? Was it just a 1 in a billion lucky break? Some random, accidental mutation? Or does the evidence point to something more? Something that looks a little too precise to be random? This leads us to a very specific and very strange genetic marker.
This is where it gets really wild. It's called the chromosome 2 enigma. See, our chromosome 2 is the result of an ancient fusion, where two separate chromosomes literally got stuck together end to end. This is incredibly rare in nature, but what's really mind-blowing is the timing. It happened exactly 200,000 years ago, the precise moment we show up in the fossil record, and at the same time, got the genetic mutation for complex speech. The level of precision in how genes were turned on and off has led some scientists cited in the source material to say this looks less like a random accident and a lot more like an intentional modification.
Okay, so let's put a pin in that origin mystery for a second, because the research takes a sharp turn here, moving from our distant past to a powerful source of intelligence that's right inside us right now, one that most of us are completely overlooking.
You have to hear this. Back in 1991, scientists discovered something incredible, about 40,000 specialized cells in the human heart that act just like brain cells. They're called censoring neurites, and they form such a complex network that today they're often called the little brain in the heart.
And look, this isn't just some poetic metaphor. A 1994 paper in the Journal of Neurocardiology made it clear. This little brain allows the heart to operate on its own. It can learn, it can remember, and it can even feel and sense, all independent of the brain in your head. It has its own intelligence.
And if you're wondering how literal this heart memory is, listen to this story. There's a well-documented case of an 8-year-old girl who got a heart transplant from a 10-year-old who had been murdered. After the surgery, the little girl started having these terrifying, vivid nightmares detailing the crime. Her descriptions were so specific they led the police to the killer. He was convicted based on memories that were literally stored in the cells of that donated heart.
So, let's connect the dots. If we've got two brains, one in our head and one in our heart, then the key to unlocking our real potential has to be getting them to work together, to get them in sync, in perfect harmony.
And there's a name for this state. It's called heart-brain coherence. It's a real, measurable, physiological state where your heart and brain are on the same wavelength. You get there by creating a very specific low-frequency signal, 0.1 hertz, that your heart sends up to your brain, telling it, hey, let's work together.
So why would you want to do this? Well, the active benefits, the things you can do on demand, are pretty amazing. We're talking about accessing deep intuition whenever you need it, creating a hotline to your subconscious for things like affirmations, and even kicking into states of superlearning and heightened senses. It's pretty next-level stuff.
But here's the kicker. Even if you do nothing else, just getting into this state gives your body an automatic upgrade. It triggers over 1,300 positive biochemical reactions. Your immune response gets a huge boost. Anti-aging enzymes get switched on. Your stress hormone, cortisol, drops by 23%, while your vitality hormone, DHEA, goes up by 100%. And these effects can last for up to 6 hours from just a 3-minute session.
Which, of course, brings us to the big question. This sounds great, but how do I actually do it? Well, the good news is it's surprisingly simple.
So remember that 0.1 hertz signal? The trigger for it is emotion, but it has to be a specific kind. 4 feelings in particular have been found to create this state of coherence most effectively: appreciation, gratitude, care, and compassion. You don't need all 4. You just need to pick one that you can genuinely, truly feel.
All right, here's the technique. It's just 3 steps. First, you focus on your heart. An easy way to do this is to just gently place your hand over your heart center. Your awareness naturally follows your touch. Second, slow your breathing. A nice, even 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. This sends a signal to your body that you're safe. And third, while you're doing that, you generate one of those 4 feelings. Really feel appreciation or gratitude or care or compassion in your heart. And that's it. That's the switch that creates the coherent state.
So, let's zoom out and bring this all together. What does all this mean for us? For the story we tell ourselves about who we are and what we're capable of.
What this technique really represents is a powerful form of self-regulation. It means you aren't just at the mercy of your biology or what's happening around you. It suggests you have the power to consciously choose to shift your internal state, to awaken this extraordinary potential that's been lying dormant inside you, whenever you want.
And all of this leaves us with one final massive thought to chew on. If the clues in our DNA and the hidden power in our hearts really do suggest that we are, in fact, human by design, then you just have to ask, what exactly were we designed to do? And what are we designed to become?